Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, is a country endowed with so many mineral resources like gold, lithium, iron ore, bitumen, and many more. Despite the dense deposit of natural resources, Nigeria has for too long depended on oil as its cash cow, its money spinner. Amid rising fuel prices occasioned by currency volatility, there is more than before a pressing need to embrace cleaner, cheaper, and more sustainable energy sources.
Ahmed Tinubu, do solemnly swear.
Upon assumption of office, President Bola Tinubu declared an end to the fuel subsidy regime, pledging that the funds would rather be used in building infrastructure, improving the welfare of citizens, and diversifying the nation's economy.
On fuel subsidy, unfortunately, the budget that I've glimpsed before I assumed office and what I've heard is that no provision for fuel subsidy. The fuel subsidy is gone.
While this intervention was necessary to save the country from economic collapse, its ripple effects are felt by practically every citizen of the country. While some Nigerians sing the song of high cost of transportation occasioned by petrol scarcity, others echo the dilemma of high cost of food and other basic needs.
Economic is very bad, you understand? Nobody is finding it easy. It's not easy on anyone, you understand? And we are talking about the economy, even both the rich and the poor. We are all getting the same thing, you understand?
For now, the economic is bad. Like seriously, people are suffering. People that you are driving who are suffering because of the fuel situation.
As a listening government concerned about the welfare of its citizens, President Bola Tinubu inaugurated the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative as a timely intervention in the transportation sector to herald the transition of Nigeria from total dependence and use of petrol to cleaner energy, with the ultimate purpose of easing the cost of movement from one point to another, powered by natural gas.
Utilizing natural gas to power our transportation industry is the next way to go. For many countries, especially Nigeria, with our own gas, if we work harder, be productive and innovative, if we can enhance our energy competitiveness and bring about transformative changes like this, we would definitely be able to achieve the prosperity that we are working hard to accomplish for our people.
We know from the studies that have been conducted that the cost of fueling our cars, our generators, and other equipment can go down by as much as 50%. In other words, it will cost us less than 50% of what we are spending today to fuel our cars when we use CNG. But the beauty about it is that the gas is also present in our country. We're actually a gas nation, not a petrol nation, or a crude nation rather. And so we must use what we have to get what we want. It doesn't make any sense to be importing PMS with billions of dollars every year, whereas we have gas right here in our nation. So it is
Nigerians that are still standing on the fence. Well, for me, my experience is that CNG is the energy for tomorrow. So everybody should look towards adopting it. It saves cost. And as per engine performance, I have not noticed anything. Probably nothing different from my initial performance while I was running on PMS. So it's like you're just cheating yourself if you're not going for CNG. I spent, maybe if I put it in percentage, maybe even 20% of what I would actually spend on PMS. In percentage, maybe 80% cheaper than PMS.
Well, I think the cost is cheaper right now for me. And comparing it with the increase in the price of fuel and everything, I think it's cheaper right now for me. So that's why I had to do it, and I think I'm benefiting.
Before we began our trip to Abuja, we made a stop at Mobile CNG filling station at toll gate in Ibadan, Oyo State, just to give a clearer perspective of how much it will cost to travel using CNG vehicles. A litre of CNG was purchased at 290 naira with a total of 9,001.
Are expensive. The materials that come with the kit are very expensive.
The challenge is actually the refueling point. I encourage the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to do more on that. If we have more refueling points, it becomes more encouraging and more enticing to the populace. However, it's a given. When you're on CNG, you spend far less than you can imagine. So in fact, my friends that I've been talking to recently, it's been like a wow experience for them.
There should be other stations. This is the only place we buy in Abuja. So there should be other stations selling so that people will be encouraged. For me now, I'm coming all the way from Area 1 to come and buy and go back home. Understand? So I think government should do something.
Safety concern.
Yeah.
What's the percentage of explosion?
Yeah.
When a cylinder, because you're carrying it in the trunk of your car.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Number one, for leakage, there is a escape hole for it that normally attach to the cylinder for leakage, and the gas too is odorless. You cannot feel its odor. It dissolves more than the air. You understand? So it will just escape automatically. And before it ignites, it requires 590 degrees Celsius before it to ignite. You understand? So before you reach that ignition point, it's not something that is nearly possible like that. You know? And the cylinder itself, within the boot, we normally attach it, fix it with a bracket. You understand that it won't allow it to shake or anything. And there is still leakage. There is still a way that we normally check for leakage as it is in the vehicle. So for safety, we are safe with CNG.
Stakeholders expressed optimism about the impact of the first-come, first-served free CNG conversion program by the Presidential CNG Initiative. Chairman Board of Trustees Road Transport Workers, Usman Yasin, praised the initiative as a game-changer for the transport sector, especially in reducing the operational cost for commercial drivers.
By the time the commercial vehicle use it and see, they are the one within a shorter time, you see that throughout the country, everybody will come in to key into the program. So we are calling on all the commercial vehicles to key into this program.
Senior Special Advisor to the Minister of Agriculture, Woye Adeyemi, commends President Bola Tinubu's energy diversification initiatives, highlighting benefits for the agricultural sector. As Nigeria transitions from petrol to cleaner, cheaper compressed natural gas, transportation costs are expected to drop, triggering a ripple effect throughout the supply chain.
Transportation is part of our problem to bring food items from rural area to urban city so that food inflation come down. So right now I've seen it. So I'm encouraging Nigerians, especially commercial drivers, to go to the conversion centers to go and convert their cars free of charge.
While Nigeria may be starting late in the adoption of CNG compared to countries like China and Japan, Engineer Oluwagbemi assures Nigerians that the country is quickly catching up. He noted that the initiative is being implemented with the urgency required to meet both the economic and environmental demands of the present time.
If you're trying to have a baby, it takes 9 months to have the baby come out, and that baby does not take another 3 to 4 years for that child to mature. Good things take time, even in the natural state of things. engineering feats like the one we're trying to achieve, which is to move 1 million vehicles to compressed natural gas in a short time to save the nation from bankruptcy, requires a lot of planning. We need to make sure we get our manufacturing capacity up. We need to make sure that we develop the infrastructure, as you've mentioned. We also need to make sure that we have the capacity. We need 25,000 technicians. When we started out, there were less than 100 people in Nigeria that knew how to convert a vehicle. From that period to today, we've trained additional 1,000. But you cannot train all of them overnight. If the 100 trains 1,000, the 1,000 can train another 10,000. And that's how you geometrically develop the sector. So overnight, we don't want to rush and go from fry pan to fire. The most important thing is that there should be proper planning. There should be proper evolution of the planning. For us, for example, the core CNG states of Lagos and Ogun on the western axis, we've been able to extend it further now to Oyo and Ilorin and to Ekiti. While the middle axis that had Edo and Delta, we've been able to, and Edo, Delta and Kogi, we've been able to extend it to Nasarawa, Abuja, that's FCT, Niger, and Kaduna, and very soon Kano. And of course, we have the other axis of CNG that had CNG but didn't have dispensing capacity, coming from Calabar to Uyo to Port Harcourt to Aba, Onitsha, and then to Asaba. They have compressed natural gas, they have natural gas, but their trucking have capacity not for vehicles. And what we're now doing is to put dispensing in there. So this requires both an engineering feat, a human capacity issue, and also a lot of logistics supply, and because we just do not produce these items in Nigeria. With respect to the vehicles, for example, the CNG vehicles, they don't make them, they don't put them on. You literally have to order it. It takes time for you to put it together. And we felt it was important that if we're going to build one, that it better be built and assembled in Nigeria. Local manufacturers like Innocent, Jets Motors, Meccano, and Kojo Motors have the capacity to develop these vehicles in Nigeria. So instead of just buying a bus and putting it on the ship, it takes forever for shipping items to even get to Nigeria these days because of the Middle East crisis and the crisis with Ukraine and Russia. That would rather bring in those vehicles as SKDs and they assemble them in Nigeria and then create jobs for Nigerians. So those things take time.
Nigeria's journey towards energy diversification through the presidential CNG initiative is pivotal in changing the nation's economic and environmental future. As the presidential CNG initiative continues to roll out its programs, Nigerians are urged to embrace the opportunity so as to achieve a more sustainable, greener, safer, and economically stable future.